since I was 8 years old, my entire life has been shaped around travel sports. I would go to 3 practices a week for 2 hours at a time. I would get ground balls smacked at me. If I messed up and around the horn, I would run poles if someone on my team messed up. But at the same point, I also made some of the best memories of my entire life. Throughout this speech, I'm going to be informing you on the impacts of travel sports on adolescents, and I feel like a lot of us can relate to that. First off, I want to talk about the positives of travel sports. In an article by Kevin Roth, looking at barriers of youth sports, impacts of sports on someone's life. So basically, in this article, he kind of talks about that through youth sports, it has an impact on your entire life, and I totally agree with this. Throughout youth sports, you face a lot of challenges, whether you're going through slumps, hitting, or pitching, or complete other sports too. And you learn perseverance through that because you have to overcome these challenges throughout these sports. Second off, I think that travel sports help create lifelong relationships. Throughout playing softball my entire life, I've made so many lifelong friends. For example, Grace, we've been friends forever. We've always played on the same travel team, and of course we play high school together as well. But completely aside from friendships, I think you make so many relationships with coaches that I think you wouldn't really think about. For me, I got really close with my hitting and pitching coach and even my travel coaches, and they shaped me to be the player I am today. And without them, I wouldn't be where I am, and I'm very grateful for that. Third off, I think travel sports teach you how to support others. I think that learning to work as a team is something that you just don't wake up and automatically know how to do. It's something that you really have to learn to do. And I think this translates a lot to both the work life, school, things like that. And knowing how to work with a team is something that you can't just automatically, pick up on your own. And so I think it's really important, and I think travel sports really teaches you that. Next off, I want to go kind of into the negatives of travel sports. First off, I think that travel sports have super high intensity when you play a really high level club. You have 3 practices a week for 2 hours at a time. You have tournaments basically every single weekend. You kind of miss out on a lot, but on top of that, you have lessons to impact your unique skills, I guess, as well. So for me, I had pitching lessons and hitting lessons on top of team practice every week. And then I also worked on my own outside of practice with my dad, whether it was hitting, pitching, fielding, things like that. And then obviously tournaments every single weekend with my team, which were really far. And so there was a lot of things that, kind of helped me burn out because it was so busy all the time. Next, I think that there's a lot of intense parents for sure in the travel world. In an article by Michael Campers called Parents in Youth Sports, the Good, the Bad, and Why We Need Them, it touches a lot on the aggressiveness of parents and crazy parents. And in travel sports, a lot of times parents are super involved in the game, sometimes more than their kids are. Parents have a really big impact on what their child thinks about people on their team, what their child thinks about their coaches. A lot of times parents really get involved with the coaches, and it can kind of create a lot of issues on the team. And I think it's something that people don't really think about. Lastly, I would like to talk about the emotional trauma I think that travel sports leaves on a lot of people. In an article by Georgiana Ramsey and Brian Rank called Rethink Youth Sports, they talk a lot about how youth sports you are encouraged to engage in others' failures. And I would definitely agree with that, whether you're playing really high intense games and a lot of times there's not very good sportsmanship, or even when you're trying to outbeat someone on your team for a position, it gets really, really competitive. I know for me, with my parents, they really expected a lot from me, and they were definitely very involved with my travel career. And it kind of created some anxiety because I always wanted to impress them, and it kind of took away from the fun of the game. Overall, I think travel sports have a really good impact on people's lives because they're very highly intensive. Without travel sports, I definitely would not be the person I am today, and I've made most of my best memories from travel sports, and I would not take away my childhood for anything. But I think there are definitely some consequences to youth sports that we can definitely rethink. Thanks.